Good afternoon, everybody. Shana Tova, Shavua Tov. Are there any that I've missed? And welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land with myself, Rolene Marks. Now, just a quick announcement. We will only be on air today and tomorrow because on Wednesday is the start of Yom Kippur, which will go into Thursday. But we will definitely be back next week with your dose of top stories from Israel. Speaking of which, let's get right into them. And 4 out of 6 caught, 2 to go. Over the weekend, the Israeli police announced that they had caught 4 out of the 6 escaped prisoners that tunneled out of Gilboa prison in the north last week. And a massive manhunt is currently underway with security forces combing the town of Jenin and surrounding towns in the West Bank. They have arrested the brother and the cousin of fugitive Iham Kamamji. He is still on the run. They've taken them in for questioning. But in the meantime, military trackers helped track down the escaped fugitives that were caught. They were caught, some of them in a truck parking lot under a semi-trailer, and police on scene described them as being humiliated, scared and hungry. Hungry as a result of them approaching many Arab Israelis for help, whether it be food or lifts, who refused to help them. And these also include the very, very dangerous Zakaria Zabedi. He's probably the most dangerous of all the prisoners that were on the loose. But police reckon that they did not have outside help, and of course investigations will be underway soon as to what resulted or what led to the ability for these prisoners to tunnel out. It has been a big blot on Israeli prison services that this happened on their watch. Meanwhile, we watch with bated breath to see just when our security forces will catch the remaining 2 escapees. And last night, the IDF struck targets in the Gaza Strip in response to a rocket fired from the Strip into Israel, setting off the red alerts in Sderot and surrounds. The rocket was intercepted by Iron Dome battery systems. However, this is the 3rd night in a row that terror entities within the Gaza Strip have fired rockets towards the state of Israel. Israel has declared we have a no tolerance policy towards rockets or projectiles being fired from the Gaza Strip into our territory. And it is rumored that terror entities within the Gaza Strip fired these rockets in protest of the prisoners who were recaptured. Meanwhile, today it looks like relations between Egypt and Israel are certainly warming up. We have a peace agreement in place, but it hasn't been as warm a peace as, say, our agreements with the UAE or Bahrain. In just a few days, we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of normalization and peace between Israel and Bahrain. Meanwhile, our Prime Minister is meeting Egyptian President al-Sisi in the town of Sharm el-Sheikh, that is close to the Red Sea. And Egypt Air announced earlier today that as of next month, they will be starting direct flights between Cairo and Tel Aviv. This is a great, significant step forward. Now, we have peace with countries like Jordan and Egypt, the UAE, Morocco, Bahrain, the Sudan. But what of the situation with Israel and her Palestinian neighbors? Well, Foreign Minister Yair Lapid put forward what he believes is his 2-pronged plan how to kind of bring Hamas under control in the Gaza Strip. His plan would include breaking the humanitarian crisis by introducing economic reforms on the ground, by improving the infrastructure in the Gaza Strip. However, he says as part of his plan, it would be up to the Palestinian Authority to maintain control over the initiatives that he would like to see take place within the Gaza Strip. Now, Hamas and the Palestinian Authority have objected to this. Obviously, Hamas don't want to see any infringement on what they see as their authority. And the Palestinian Authority say, no, this is a political issue. And of course, we know that there is internecine fighting between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. So let's see how this progresses and what will happen in the Gaza Strip as far as reformation and reconstruction is concerned. So those are the top stories making headlines today, but don't worry, we have still been busy uploading that original content to our website, which you can check out at www.layoftheland.online. I am trying to stand up perfectly straight, keep my spine in alignment, because the latest article comes from our resident health expert, Lionel Phillips. It's part 2 of his series on posture and the spine, so I'm trying to be conscious of mine. And if you don't want to read it on our website, you can read it on our Facebook page. And while you're there, if you haven't joined our community, please give us a like or a follow. Invite your friends to like or to follow our page. We really try and get those stories out about Israel and other stories that you might not hear in the mainstream press, but you'll definitely hear them on Lay of the Land. And if you see this broadcast there, please do us a favor and share it. We really, really appreciate it when you do. We're also on Twitter at The Israel Brief. That's our channel. If you are there, please like, share, and subscribe by clicking on the red subscribe button. And of course, we would never leave Twitter out. That would make us, well, absolute twits. So we are there with at Lay of the Land with the digit 5. And if you are there, give us a follow and hey, maybe drop us a line. We would love to interact with you. So with today's edition of the Israel Brief, I'm Rolene Marks. The Israel Brief is brought to you by Lay of the Land, and I will catch you again tomorrow.